次試験官のサトツと申します。
サトツ。
二次試験会場まで私についてくること。
Does he have a mask on?
一次試験でございます。
From the side, it kind of almost looked like hope and ambition.
試験開始から2時間、受験者たちが走った距離はスタートから30キロを超えていた。
Let's go. Hey, Nicholas.
過去のデータからこのパターンの試験はズバリ40キロのコース。
Okay.
僕の計算ではそろそろ
No,
ゴー
no,
ル
no,
が近い
no,
です
no.
よ。
Hold on now. He's got a full suit on too.
なめてたぜ、ハンター試験を。
Case.
みんな化け物だ。化け物の集まりなんだな。
Gathering of monsters, eh? Eh, skateboard, right?
てめえハンター試験なめんじゃねえぞ。
何のこと？
なんのってそのスケボー反則だろ。これは持久力のテストなんだぞ。
違うよ。
は？ゴン、てめえ何言ってる。
試験官はついてこいって言っただけだもんね。
てめえどっちの味方だ。
ねえ、君いくつ？12歳。同い年ね。うん？
Look at this.
やっぱ俺も走ろうっと。おお、かっこいい。俺切るわ。
Kid
俺
wa.
はゴン。
Look at that, just like that, they're friends. Oh no, Nicholas.
バカな。
Oh, he's about to pass out?
バカな。僕の計算に狂いはない。なぜ？
Because year to year, it's unpredictable.
そんなのやだ。
He blew his load too early, man. Oh, there goes the data.
ハンター試験でもお前のようなやつは落ち
Oh
込む
god.
二度と来んな。
Oh my god, he's having a mental breakdown over this. Yep.
ほら、
There's a psychological aspect.
上出来だ。お前、本当にルーキー潰しが好きだな。ふん。それが俺の生きがいだから。
Is he almost kind of like an insider, maybe? Oh no.
俺みたいな凡人には夢のまた夢ってわけ。
Normal human like me. Gone?
おい、ほっとけよ。早く行こうぜ。
Hold on, hold on. He's taking a long time to think.
ざけんなよ。
Let's go. Let's go. With the case. Maybe Gon can pick it up. Hold on now, hold on. Oh, look at that smile. I just hope that smile never gets twisted, you know, down the line.
かっこいい。
Look at this.
後で俺にもやらせてよ。スケボー貸してくれたらね。
It's that easy for boys to just become friends. Sorry.
さて、ちょっとペースを上げますよ。
Oh god.
なんてやつだ。普通に歩くような感じで。
Prancing up the stairs.
ゴン、どっちが先にゴールするか競争しないか？いいよ。勝った方がご飯一回おごりね。よし、乗った。
Let's go, Leorio.
レオリオ、大丈夫か？
およ、見ての通りだぜ。
Here comes that jazzy theme.
構わなきゃ。まだまだいけることだ。
Ah. You don't really look that stupid, you look kind of cool.
レオリオ、
They kind of focused on that, didn't they?
ハンターになりたいのは本当に金が目当てか？
Ooh.
違うな。ほんの数日の付き合いだが、それくらいはわかる。確かにお前の態度は軽薄で頭も悪い。
But he's got a kind heart.
だが決してそこが浅いとは思わない。金儲けだけが生きがいの人間は何人も見てきたが、お前はそいつらとは違う。
理屈っぽい野郎だぜ。
Yeah, they kind of hinted at those eyes. Wow. Oh. How about this? Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god, that got dark real quick. The Phantom Troop. Whew. Wow. I think I spoke of this. Okay. Okay. Maybe your turn now, Leorio, to open up a bit?
俺の目的はやっぱり金さ。
嘘をつくな。
There's more to
嘘
it.
じゃねえよ。
まさか本当に金でこの世のすべてが買えるとでも。
He might need the money for something.
買えるさ。物はもちろん、夢も心も人の命だって金次第だ。
Ah. People's lives, eh?
金ありゃ、俺の友達は死ななかった。
He slipped. And the score takes a turn once again.
決して治らない病気じゃ。
But he didn't have the funds. Kind of looks like gone. Oh.
問題は法外な手術代さ。俺は単純だからな。医者になろうと思ったぜ。
Ah.
ダチと同じ病気の子供を治して。
Look at this.
いらねえって。その子
Oh.
の親に言ってやるのは笑い話だぜ。そんな医者になるためにはさらに見たこともねえ体験がいるそうだ。
It's yeah, it's a pricey prospect.
金だ。俺は金が欲しいんだよ。
Oh, interesting. Dynamic there.
おっさん、先行くぜ。
そんじゃねえ。俺はまだお前らと同じ10代だ。
Is he?
え、嘘。
Okay.
ねえ、キルアはなんでハンターになりたいの？
Killua.
俺別にハンターになんかなりたくないよ。ものすごい難関だって言われてるから。
Ah,
面白そうだ
challenge?
と思っただけさ。けど拍子抜けだな。
Hold on, it's just phase 1.
ゴンは？
俺はさ、親父がハンターなんだ。
親父ってどんなハンター？
わかんない。
お前それじゃ変じゃん。そう？だって親父みたいになりた
But
い。
you don't even know.
親
Yeah.
父のことわかんないなんてさ。
俺、生まれてすぐミトさんに育てられたから。
Hand selected photos, perhaps?
誰だよ、ミトさんって。
ミトおばさん。
Ah, aunt. Okay, close. Of course, close relation.
俺を捨ててまで夢中になったハンターってどうなんだろうって。
ようやく少ない地下からおさらばだ。
Hold on. Don't get too excited.
どっちが早かった？
私の目には同着に見えましたね。
そっか。じゃあ俺がキルアにご飯をおごる。代わりにキルアが俺にご飯をおごって。
Okay, fair enough.
なんだよそれ。
Oh, open field, eh? Quite a few made it. Let's go, Leorio. You made it.
霧が晴れてきたぞ。
本当？
I think now they'll see. Oh boy. Ooh, yes.
命令出現、通称詐欺師のねぐら。二次試験会場へはここ
Oh
を通っていか
god.
ねばなりません。
Oh god, this is about to
この
be
出現にしかいない奇怪な動物たち。その多くが人間をも欺いて食料にしよ
insatiable
うと
creatures.
狡猾で貪欲な生き物です。標的を騙して食い物にする生物たちの生態系。
Dog eat dog.
詐欺師のねぐらと呼ばれるゆえんです。
Swindler swamp. How about this
騙される
man?
ことのないようしっかり私の後を
I'm still not sure if he's in disguise or not.
騙されるな。
Is this guy been stuck here?
そいつは嘘をついている。そいつは偽物だ。試験官じゃない。
Ah.
俺が本物の試験官だ。偽物？どういうことだ？
I don't know about that, but some kind of trick at play.
サトツさんそっくり。
無命令出現に生息する人面猿だ。人面猿だ。
Man faced
人
it.
面猿は新鮮な人肉を
Ugh, okay.
確かに あの走りとても人間技とは思えなかった。
Hold on. Ooh. The cards gotta be Hisoka, right? Oh no, it's a purple suit.
なるほどなるほど。これで決定。そっちが本物だね。
Here's a Spanish flavor in the score again.
試験官というのは審
Hunters, okay. That makes sense.
が無償で任務に就くもの。
しかし次からはいかなる理由でも私への攻撃は
He's got a history.
の反逆行為とみなして即失格とします。いいですね。
はい。
So charismatic. Oh god.
自然の掟とはいえ。
Sure can.
現に何人かは騙されかけて私を疑ったんじゃありませんか。この先ヌメーレ湿原の中は霧が深く一度この私を見失う
He's
と
the guide,
ま
essentially,
ず
the beacon.
二次試験会場へたどり着くことはできないでしょう。
It's about to end because that music's kicking in now. Nice shot.
ここまで36名の受験者が脱落。
Oh, it's a great shot.
368名。過酷なハンター試験は
Sure does. Okay, so episode 4. Great ending, of course. You know, they've kind of established at this point that they know how to kind of leave off on a great hook or a cliffhanger, right? To keep you coming back. So yeah, you know, it appears that the running phase, even if it was quite extensive, and it really is quite impressive that a lot of them made it out of there. Yeah, you know, the next phase, now things are getting a little bit dicey, right? Because listen, the running phase, okay, maybe you fall behind and you're eliminated, as a few of them are, you know. And Nicholas, I felt sad for him. I felt for him, you know. Like he had such absolute belief in his data that he's just baffled, just, you know, blindsided by this failure, absolute failure that happens here, you know. So it was kind of sad. And of course, you know, Tampa, you know, sees the situation, reads the situation, and then sends the three brothers in, right, to really put the nail in the coffin, really break his spirit. And, you know, in comparison to the world of this anime, of this story, the rituals of this world, figure of speech, of course, Tanpa almost kind of feels harmless. The things he's doing in comparison to the things they're alluding to and kind of, you know, straight up telling us about at this point, yeah, it almost feels kind of harmless, right? But it still serves a purpose. So it'll be interesting to see if Tanpa can make it much further, right, than even phase 1. And, you know, he's been at it for a long time. And, you know, it almost kind of even feels like that he's not truly really trying to, you know, pass the exam either, you know, given the decades he spent in there being this rookie crusher or rookie hunter. But yeah, I've got to say there's some fantastic character development on display in this episode, right? Offering us significant insights into the past of these characters, right? Great use of the backstory, you know, using those significant events that occurred in the character's past to build towards story progression, right? I mean, there's some fascinating insight, right? And listen, you know, once again, it kind of hints at the really dark nature of the world they are a part of, right? Again, you know, like I mentioned in the last episode's discussion, that, you know, striking or jarring tonal shift that happens and then it snaps back, right? But I think I get the feeling now that after a certain point in this anime, it's not going to snap back, right? That tonal shift might be more of a permanent tonal shift at some point. But right now, you know, it's great at just kind of snapping back, giving you a peek at it, hinting at it, and then you snap back into it, right? It still kind of has this wholesome feel to it, a lot of it, even though, you know, Satots, I hope I'm saying that right, is essentially setting up that the next phase of this, the next phase of phase 1 essentially, or next part of phase 1 is a life or death type phase, right? So, you know, so for the people who actually got left behind or fell behind, you know, maybe they're better off that they got left behind, because the ones that are going to be eliminated next in this part of the test or the phase, yeah, some of them actually might be dead rather than, just kind of failing to keep up and then kind of having to go back. Yeah, these ones might not have the chance to even go back. This could be the end of the line altogether, right? And the thing is, now it's becoming clear that the exam or the structure of the exam is essentially trying to mimic the world of a hunter, the dangers of being in that profession, the horrors that you're exposed to, the horrors you're essentially put into, perhaps, or put in the path of. I mean, this hunter business is a dark one, isn't it? And like I said, the moment you become a hunter, you essentially become a part of that ecosystem, right? That essentially you could be in the path of those horrors. And it really feels like there is going to be this exponential incline in terms of the danger levels, right? In terms of the types of situation these hunter, applicants are going to be facing. But imagine phase 2 and beyond, perhaps. I'm not even sure how many phases there are. Surely there's more than 2. Things are going to get dicey just in the exam phase, aren't they? But of course, a handful of these applicants are clearly cut out for it, right? Be it our own main cast. It could be interesting if not all 4 of them make it through by the end of it. That could be an interesting plot development. That not all of them become hunters at the same time. And then how that could potentially play a part in the plot from that point on. Then you've got people like Hisoka, who is more than capable of passing this. They even said, Tonpa even said that he was all but confirmed to be a hunter, locked on to become a hunter, essentially, or pass the exam until he ended up killing an examiner, right? I mean, he was ready to test it this episode as well, as he does. He's the only one who's able to really put this test into motion, right? Think about this, or go to that, space. He attacks both of them and just assumes, okay, one of them is the real deal, so the one that is able to kind of block my attack is going to be a hunter. And of course, hunters are really quite capable and quite impressive, so he just knew he should be able to deflect his attack. But also, I think at the same time, Hisoka was trying to test the examiner, gauge the response of the examiner, right? To get an idea of the type of hunter he is. So let's see if there's any more run-ins. He gave him that heads up. He's like, you do that again, I understand it this time, I'll take it as a compliment, but you do that again, there are going to be consequences. But, I spoke of the harsh reality of the world of hunters, right? The horrors in that path, or on that path. My goodness, I get a bit more insight on Kurapika's past and his clan getting decimated, hunted, targeted, right? Through new context, it makes it even more horrifying. It makes it even more jarring. My goodness. They're targeted for their exotic eyes, essentially, because the eyes themselves, at a heightened emotional state, I believe they become scarlet, the scarlet eye. And I've seen this. I saw it on the ship in episode 1, right? And I suppose that was a bit of a heightened state, right? As Kurapika is thinking back to his motives, his reasoning for all of this. But that is so incredibly dark, to hunt a clan just for their rare eyes, right? For the beauty of those eyes, because they fetch quite a handsome sum on the black market. Ugh. See, that right there, the fact that there's people out there that are capable of this, and by people, I suppose I mean the Phantom Troop, that are able to do this to people, right? For money, right? And then, money is certainly one of the main talking points of this conversation that Kurapika and Leorio have. I mean, there's a newfound respect there on both ends, on both sides. And I love that. I love that these two are connecting on that level. I mean, sure, they might disagree on a few things, but there's still enough there now. There's enough respect there. And I love how Kurapika just kind of knew, right? Again, a great judge of character. And on his journeys, I suppose, he's seen a lot of people the greed for money. He's experienced the greed for money firsthand, right? My goodness, his entire clan is butchered for the greed of money. And that begs the question, how the hell did Kurapika get out of there? How did he survive? How does he manage to just maintain his humanity? How is he so rock solid, right? Impressive, really quite impressive. I mean, these are the types of things that break someone, don't they? But no, strong character on display. I mean, the Phantom Troop took everything from him, everything. And speaking of the Phantom Troop, is it possible that the silhouettes I keep seeing in the opening, the intro aspect of the anime before it goes into the actual intro, the opening, are those potentially the members of the Phantom Troop? It's a group of them together. So I think that's one possibility. And from this point on, now that I've kind of had that thought, I am going to keep an eye out for maybe some of these silhouettes. I'm going to go back to those moments, or go back to that frame, I suppose, and really get a good look at these silhouettes and see if I come across some of them, right, at some point. I mean, I am going to come across them at some point, but maybe not all together, right? Maybe it could be like a character by character thing. But indeed, it appears that Kurapika is open to throwing away his pride, right, in order to become the type of hunter he despises, or the type of person he despises, perhaps, to avenge his late clan and reclaim the Scarlet Eyes, even, right? So to reclaim those, he needs to get information on those, and to get information on those, he needs to tap into the black market, and to do that, he needs to get high-paying clients, or a certain type of high-paying client, that could help him gain access to that information as well. But yeah, there's once again a really impactful line of dialogue. A blow to my pride is nothing in comparison to the suffering of my clan, or the suffering they faced before dying, something along those lines. But my goodness, I mean, this is yet another really significant line of dialogue after episode 1 as well, right? That's around the time I do kind of get a look at the Scarlet Eye. So there's a functional aspect to that. I thought it was more of like an anime thing at that point, but no, the red eye, yeah, it's significant. It is. But that being said, he's the last remaining member, right? As of this point, or as far as I know, as far as he knows at this point. So he's also a big target, especially if he goes on to become a hunter. There's going to be a target on his back almost immediately. The news is going to spread. There is one more pair of Scarlet Eyes out there. So yeah, maybe the Phantom Troop might come for him rather than him having to go to the Phantom Troop again. Maybe they might feel the need to complete the set, get the last pair, and then kind of sell that off for a profit as well, right? But I fear for Kurapika. But this path of vengeance he is on, I can see a bit of development there, right? As the story progresses. I think there's a lot of potential here. Leorio and Kurapika, as they are the two older ones, and they're kind of connecting on a different level as well. Then of course you've got essentially the beginning stages of perhaps a beautiful friendship, perhaps one of the greatest friendships. It just kind of had that feeling, didn't it? These two, it just felt so seamless. They just, they happen to be the same age. They're really quite impressed with each other, right? They clearly think each other is quite cool. That's all it took, right? That's all it took. Now they're friends, right? It does feel like the beginning stages, right? I've seen these kind of things before in, anime like One Piece. Again, that iconic moment, Luffy and Zoro come across each other for the first time. I knew back then, because it's by design, it just felt like, oh my goodness, strap in. These two are going to have quite a journey together, right? It did kind of feel similar here. Killua and Gon meeting each other, right? They're almost already inseparable. And the thing I like is that, both of them kind of get an idea for each other. I think more so Killua getting an idea of the type of person Gon is, right? Loyal. He just believes. He has absolute belief in his friends. He didn't say anything. I like that approach. He's looking at Leorio, who's essentially almost ready to tap out. But I love how he just knew. He just felt that, yeah, Leorio is going to, get up and he is going to stay in. right? But he's there. He's still, you know, kind of stopped for support. But I love that approach. That he didn't feel the need to say anything. And you know, he just felt that, okay, you know, he'll dig deep. He'll dig deep. I know him. Surely he'll dig deep. So I like that. I like that Killua really gets to know Gon. And you know, he did ask Gon his reasoning for wanting to be a hunter, and you know, of course, I've been given that reason before. You know, here once again, you see that it's a case of Gon just almost having this delusional belief, even, right? That surely there is a reason that is good enough that he wanted to be a hunter, right? It must be that amazing that he would just abandon me. He would leave his son. It's almost as if he doesn't even like to think about the possibility of that not being how it is, or that being the truth of the matter, right? He doesn't even think about the other possibility that maybe there might not be a reason that good. Maybe he might be disappointed, but I feel like he doesn't even entertain those thoughts. You know, he smiles anytime he'll say this, but I do feel like behind that smile, there is a bit of sadness, right? There's a part of him that must feel, you know, that dread of, okay, you know, what if it's not? You know, what if it's not something grand? You know, what if he just thought that was more important than me in his life at that point? Right? So it'll be interesting to see how that develops. You know, he asked Kaluuya as well. He's saying it's more so for the challenge, right? So this is clearly someone who is, I mean, impressive. That's for sure. They've set that up. You know, they've hinted at his past a bit in the last episode, that he's trained quite a bit and that he is acquainted with poisons, that it was something he had to train with and for, you know, potentially getting poisoned or using poison, the effects of poison, how to handle poison if it's in your system. So, you know, of course, his backstory is still a little bit, I don't know, cloudy at the moment, right? But, you know, the fact that he's saying that it's only for the challenge, it doesn't feel like it's something he needs, that he truly needs, right? Unless, of course, he's just saying that as of this point. But, you know, to me, I did feel like, yeah, okay, a part of him is being truthful. Yeah, you know, it must be for the challenge. But of course, there might be a separate conscious desire as well, right? I mean, that's one of the things this episode really excels at, depicting and showcasing the conscious desires of our principal cast, right? And there's a great dynamic between the principal cast at this point. But that being said, I'm really excited to see some of them from the main four, or maybe all of them, interact with Hisoka. That, you know, that could be really interesting. Because as of this point, you know, he's kind of been doing his own thing, right? Now, you know, he's kind of really put himself out there as well. But yeah, you know, Hisoka, you know, this dude is ready-made to be a hunter. He just even has the look. He looks like the final form of a character, doesn't he? You know, he sticks out like a sore thumb, essentially. That's the point I'm trying to make. A lot of them kind of have this look of, you know, newbies, right? But not him. It looks like he's been there, he's done that. He's just by the look of him, the visual depiction of this character, you can tell he has a past, an interesting one, an intriguing one, a dark one, perhaps. I mean, surely there's darkness in his past, given his disposition and the things he's open to and capable of. So I'm excited for Hisoka. I mean, once again, almost a scene-stealing moment for Hisoka. And to me, it feels like he might go on to become a mercenary type hunter. You know, hunter for hire, mercenary for hire. I mean, in that sense, you know, since they are going to be spending a lot of time together, you know, Kurapika, you know, maybe if they start kind of interacting and start learning about each other, I mean, I don't think Hisoka is going to be opening up much to anyone. But I don't know, you know, if they are kind of getting a look at Hisoka at this point, right? And I'm sure it is going to play out in the next few episodes as well. And, you know, could be, you know, much further than that, because I'm not sure how long the exam phase is. I mean, given the pacing so far, I can see it going at least 25 episodes plus by the time they get to the end of the exam, maybe longer. I'm not sure. But listen, man, you know, alliances, you know, Kurapika is intelligent, a critical thinker, a great judge of character. So, you know, he'll know, you know, he knows not to be naive or he's not naive. But there is something to be said about alliances. Maybe Kurapika doesn't have to go after the Phantom Troop by himself, right? Maybe it could be a group of his own. Maybe it could be an alliance. You bring in people like Hisoka, maybe hire him. A mercenary type hunter. Again, that's just my feeling on the type of hunter he could be or can be. But I think the scene stealer this time around is Leorio's backstory, right? And once again, really getting proper insight into his background, his backstory, strong insight, right? And Kurapika really wanted to learn about him because clearly, again, great judge of character. Clearly, there's a curiosity there, right? Because Kurapika knew things are not adding up. This is not he just doesn't seem like the type of person. It feels like it's a superficial, surface level claim that, it's all for money, that it's not a noble cause. Listen, my dude, trying to provide healthcare to people that cannot afford it, that is a noble cause if I've ever seen one, right? It is definitely a noble cause. But of course, it appears that, Leorio doesn't quite care much about that aspect of it. But my goodness, that backstory, it's a touching moment. Again, it brings him to tears to think back to the friend he lost, a friend that easily could have been treated and could have been around this day. But of course, the stumbling block, money. Money runs the world. It's as simple as that. It's just the simple truth of the matter. But you see that he hates that actually. He hates the setup. He hates that money is a barrier to so many things, for so many people, right? But he understands the significance of it. That's for damn sure, right? So he still wants to make a lot of money. But I think his reasoning, the context that's provided here is satisfying for sure. I mean, it's a sad moment, isn't it? As he's going on about, wanting to become a doctor and, treating these kids or treating people that have these diseases but cannot afford it. But then turns out, you need just as much money or even more money to become a doctor, right? The tuition fees are quite immense. They really are, in that profession. So yeah, but the thing is, he still practiced. Hell, he goes on to become quite an established medic. I mean, established in the sense that he's really quite proficient or effective, as the navigator mentioned, right? He patched me up better than a lot of doctors, than most doctors even. And I had a bit of a brain fart moment. The case. All of a sudden, I kind of forgot that the case is just his equipment. And, I kept thinking, it's got to be something important, something significant to his past. But it's just his case, right? He is a medic, a good one, a really good one. So, he was able to overcome some of those obstacles and he still practiced somehow and he became a medic. Right, so I love that. Leorio, my goodness. I liked him anyways, but now I'm really quite attached to Leorio specifically as well. Because he does feel the most human out of them. He does. He himself even proclaims, for humans like me, this is just a tough task. It's almost impossible as he falls behind. But yeah, they've set up that there's a lot of special humans and there's also ones that resemble a normal human. People like Kurapika, Killua, Gon, you can't quite say they're normal humans because there is a person like Leorio that is a part of that group who isn't like them. You've got people like Hisoka, you've got people like the examiner, the hunter, Satots. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I really enjoyed the significant insight into the past, the backstory, right? A lot of inciting incidents or the ghost of the character's past. Be it an absent father leaving his child behind, and of course that setting into motion Gon's journey. You've got an entire murdered clan, right? And the path of vengeance it sets Kurapika on. But yeah, that brings us back to the ending in the next episode. A lot of them, the majority of them are really quite exhausted. Killua and Gon seem like they're just chill, cool as ice. But yeah, majority of them are exhausted. So things like reflexes might be a bit diminished. Things like critical thinking might be a bit diminished, right? And now they're being put in this situation, in this hostile environment, right? So it sets it up nicely for the next episode. If you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments, give me your thoughts. If you're interested in early access to the next few episodes right now, or perhaps even timer-based full length, consider checking out the Patreon page and potentially supporting the channel. If you're interested, the links are in the description and the pinned comment. Right at the top of the comment section, you cannot miss it. Also links to social media, things like Twitter and Instagram. But thank you so much for joining me, folks, and thank you for your time, because time is precious. It really is. And I do hope to see you again soon for episode 5. Until then, take it easy.